Hello everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori, and in today's video I have another one of my brain dumps. Now if you've never seen any of my brain dumps before, this is where I literally just sit here and talk about whatever I want to talk about with no cuts or edits, just me purely talking like it's a little digital diary. So I'm sorry if there's a lot of pauses, likes, buts, ands, ums. I'm still trying to learn how to tell stories and explain things without losing my train of thought, so just bear with me. But with that in mind, in today's video, I wanted to talk about some things that I thought was normal growing up, but didn't realize that they weren't until later on in my life, like after going to elementary school, meeting new people, and all stuff like that. And the way that I got to this topic is my friend Amanda, literally one of my best friends since third grade. She texted me and she said, "This is so random, but I have a quick question for an assignment I'm doing in my psych class. Was there anything that me and my family did growing up or just like in general that was super different from your family/cultural background? We're just talking about cultural bias and about something that we think is normal, maybe not so normal to other people of different cultural backgrounds." So I have a TikTok video of me talking about like the first four things that I came up with, because for some reason I couldn't come up with anything on the spot, even though I knew I could give a whole like CVS receipt long list of things that I grew up doing that she didn't, or like that I thought was normal or wasn't normal. You get the gist. But I have a little journal of 10, 11 things that I came up with because thank goodness to my TikTok comments, they reminded me of some other ones that I completely forgot about. So if you haven't followed me on TikTok and watch that TikTok, go ahead and click down below. My TikTok should be in the bottom. But let's just get started. So the first thing is honorifics. I didn't know that they were called honorifics until literally my TikTok comments. And that's basically when you have to put a name in front of, like a specific title in front of a name. So like just like how you say like auntie something, you would do that, but with someone that's even just like within your own generation. So let me explain this. I have two older brothers, and if I were just to speak regular Tagalog, since my parents, they speak Kapampangan, which is like a different dialect than Tagalog, so not all Filipinos like say this, but I would have to call them kuya. And then if I had an older sister, I'd have to call her ate. But since my parents speak Kapampangan, I call my brothers Koya and Diko. And then I think if I had an older sister, it'd be Achi, but I don't know 100% because I don't have an older sister, so I wouldn't know. But I feel like even then I would just say ate anyways. That's what my nephew calls calls his sister. Also, what else? Oh, and then with my cousins, so instead of just calling them like just straight up their names, so my brothers' names are Gabriel and Daniel. So if my cousins were to call them, they would call them Kuya Gabe and Kuya Dan. Like they wouldn't say just Gabe and Dan. Like I remember going over to my friends, like my white friends' houses when I was younger, and they would refer to their brothers as like their first name, or they would be talking to them and they'd just be straight up like, "Hey Ben, can you do this for me?" And I'd just be like, "What the fuck?" Like your parents not gonna beat your ass by saying that. Like, what? That's so weird. But yeah, that was something that I did not realize was a not normal thing. I remember being in elementary school, sitting at my desk, telling everyone and explaining the whole like Filipino respect lore of me being like, "Yeah, so I can't just call my brother his name. I have to call him Koya and Diko. And then if I have cousins, which they're all boys literally on the East Coast, I'd literally have to call them like, oh, Kuya blah blah blah, Kuya blah blah blah." And it like blew their minds. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. And then other ones are like if I have, so even with Filipinos, you have multiple godparents. I mean, I actually don't know if that's a straight Filipino. I don't even know. But I have multiple godparents. So Ninang and Ninong is what I would call them. So I'd be like Ninong something. Ninang something. I don't even know. Like it's the same thing as if you were to call them like auntie something or whatever, but like you'd say Ninang. And I'd never say like, "Yeah, this is my godmother's." Like I'd be like, "Hey, this is my Ninang's." Like, you know? What else? Oh, and also just something that we call different is instead of saying auntie and uncle, we'd say tita and tito. And literally even my mom's friends that we're not even related to, but they're close and like they're close to our family, I would call them tita and tito, like even if they're not even related to me. But yeah, that's it for the first one. The second one is sleepovers. I talked about this in my TikTok as well. Sleepovers. I remember every single time I would ask my parents to have a sleepover when I was in, it started in middle school because when I was in elementary school, my mom would let me sleep over at my neighbor's house, which was right there. She was like my best friend. My parents knew them, so I guess that's why it was like okay. But then when I got to sixth grade, they immediately switched up on me. I remember crying so hard because my friends at school were having a sleepover, but I wasn't allowed to. And I literally was like, why? Like, when did you change from me not being able to, or me being able to sleep over to me being able to not sleep over? It was so weird. I remember, and they gave no explanation, obviously. They're freaking Filipino parents. They would just be like, because we don't want to. Instead of just being like, oh, well, we don't trust blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't know them. Like, actually taking the time to explain why they don't trust having sleepovers. So, and I guess that was like a Filipino thing because I know that a lot of my Filipino friends, and maybe just even like an immigrant thing because a lot of my foreign friends, they weren't allowed to have sleepovers and their parents were strict with that type of stuff too. But as I got older, I kind of understood because you don't know how these people's families are. Like, you don't know how it is, which I'm like super grateful for that my parents, like as I'm older, I can understand why they did the things that they did, but I just wish they explained it better, instead of just being like, ugh, like how, Filipino parents are, whatever. The third thing is bless or like mano, which is like you take your older, it's mostly like someone of an older generation, mostly like lolas and lolos, which is like grandparents. You'd take their hand and then go like this, especially after mass. Like whenever I'd come back from church, I would bless my mom or have my mom, I don't know, is it me bless her or I bless? Because when I'd grow up, like talking in Filipino parties or whatever, my mom would be like, oh, go bless. And it's like, I go up to them and I go like this. So I don't know if I go bless, they bless me. Anyways, you do that when there's either like an older person, like a grandparent, going home from mass. It's like just a sign of respect, to respect your elders and stuff like that. So I didn't know that wasn't a normal thing. Yeah, I don't know. What would like American white people, maybe not even just white people, but other non-Filipino people, like what would y'all do if you have a thing like that? I don't know. Because I know in other Asian cultures, like you would bow and stuff. I don't know if that's specifically just for older people, because I know that it is just like a general like respect thing. So I don't know. Anyways, that's number 3. Now number 4, actually no. Yeah, number 4 is I had this question. A lot of people responded saying that the way that I think of it is the way that they think of it as well. So it has to be just a Filipino thing. So if I were to have a cousin and they were to have a kid, would you call them your cousin once removed? Like, I don't even know what that means. Cousin once removed, or would you call them your niece and nephew? Growing up, I would always say, oh, I'm going to like my niece's birthday party or whatever. And they're like, oh, your brother had a kid? And this was like before my brother had a kid. They'd be like, your brother had a kid? And I'd be like, no, it's just my cousin's kid, my nephew, my niece. And they're like, oh, that's not your niece. That's like your cousin. And I'm like, what? Why? Like, that makes no sense. They're literally in my same generation. So why would they not be my niece and nephew too? Because, like, I feel like my cousins are just another extension of my immediate family. So it would just like carry it, like it makes sense. It makes more sense. I don't understand. Cousin once removed, like that. What even is that? That just takes too long to say. So niece or nephew. So I realized that was mostly like a Filipino thing. Maybe an Asian thing too, because a lot of the comments were saying that I'm Cambodian and this is what we think too. Like we say the exact same thing. So it has to be just like maybe like an Asian thing. I don't know. Number 5 is the importance of like spending all holidays together. So when I got to high school, I remember we would have like my friends in high school would invite me to New Year's parties. And I would always ask my mom, but she would always say no because New Year's was always meant to be a family thing. So growing up, every single year we would have New Year's all together. And it wasn't until, actually, no. Before this, I think I was in elementary school. One of my friends, I asked her, I was like, oh, what did you do for New Year's? Like, did you hang out with your family or whatever? And they were like, no, I didn't even watch the ball drop. I fell asleep. My parents just told me about it. Like, they were in their house, like, just by themselves. And I was kind of like, oh, is New Year's not like a Christmas part two? Because I know, like, all holidays, at least for the Filipino people, you literally spend December, like end of December and beginning of January, like all those holidays together. Like New Year's Eve, Christmas, or not New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, Christmas, and New Year's together. Like, I knew I would be seeing family every single, like, I knew I would be seeing family for that whole week because I know that that's like all those celebrations are together. So I guess it's like the importance of, or not the importance, but like having family parties, because even with like Pacquiao fights, we would have giant watch parties, like family parties to be watching Pacquiao fights. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just different events that we do compared to other people, because I know people have like Super Bowl parties and stuff like that, which we do too, but I don't even know what I'm saying. But yeah, spending holidays together. I remember I would never be able to go to New Year's parties with my friends in high school. And I remember there was one time, I think my senior year, because my friend Amanda was visiting. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually spending New Year's not like with my family or being with them. Which sounds kind of bad, but I don't know. I just wanted to hang out with my friends at that time. But now I still spend it with my family at this point, because I think this year I literally spent it with my family. Because I was tired and I didn't want to go out, so... And I feel like the older I got, the more close and the more I wanted to be with my family. It's so funny, in high school, I was like, I want to just be away from my family. I just want to do my own thing and do whatever. But as soon as I like got older and went to college or whatever, I cannot imagine not being with my family. I feel like that's a recurring thing. I don't know if, I feel like it's for a lot of people, a lot of girls. You have a fight with your mom and then it gets better like after college and you just become super close to your family again. I don't even know what I'm saying. This is that, whatever. Next thing. Number 6. So someone commented I had a culture shock, or my biggest culture shock was when I went over to my friend's house, probably her like American white friend's house, and they didn't have a tabo, which is basically a thing. It's basically like a little bucket, but with a handle, and you put water in it, and you literally wash your coochie bagoochie and your butt when you go to the bathroom. There's always gonna be one at a Filipino person's house, and it's just sitting there. So I didn't realize that wasn't a normal thing until I went over to other people's house, and I would literally look for like at least a cup or something. I was like, yo, where it at though? I remember being at school. And my friends, like, we'd have our own apartment and stuff, my friends would come into my bathroom and they'd be like, what is this? Like, picking up my tabo. And I would just be like, yo, you probably don't want to be, like, putting that too close to your face or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways. Okay. What are we at? 7? Eating with forks/spoons or hands. Now, I did not know that until, like, later on, that most people don't eat with a fork and spoon. You just eat with a fork and a knife. And I was like, what? How was that like efficient at all? And I remember one of my comments literally said I had to write a descriptive essay on how to eat with your utensils or whatever. And they said that they got a C on it because the teacher said that you shouldn't be using the fork to push the food onto the spoon. And that is literally how Filipinos eat. You take the fork, spoon, go like this. It's so funny. I remember when my friends would come over to my house and they would see us eat like really quickly, like with fork and spoon or whatever. And they'd be like, how are you doing that so quickly? I just thought, oh my God, that's so funny. Because it's literally the most efficient way to eat, I feel. And you get the biggest bites out of everything. Fork and spoon, push it on, and then eat the spoon full. Like, what? And I remember, I think the teacher said to her that spoons are only used for soup or whatever, and she got like a C on it. And then she said her parents were so mad, and it wasn't because the teacher, like, they weren't mad at the teacher, it was because she got a C. Which, also, I know that that's an Asian thing, and also probably just like a strict parent thing, but, grades. If you have a C, like, just don't even bother coming home. I remember I had my first C in high school. My mom was so mad at me. But She cannot get mad at me. It was literally Algebra 2 trig. I was in the advanced math class and I was struggling. I would literally stay up till 1 a.m. trying to do these study guides and studying and whatever. So anyways, off topic. But yeah, either that or eating with your hands. My grandma, whenever my Lola, which I never even called her Lola because I would call her Ima. I don't know. Is that like a Kapampangan thing? But yeah, we'd refer to my grandma as Ima. I'm on my dad's side, Ima and Tatang. So my Ima, she would always only eat with her hands. I don't think I ever seen her eat with like a spoon and fork. Probably, I think she's only ever used utensils maybe at a restaurant. But even then, I don't even know if she's ever done that either. She would literally have her plate of rice, get the thing of salt, dump it all on there, and then just mix it up, and eat with her hands. I honestly love eating with my hands. It's I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's a lot cooler. The older I get, the more I appreciate all the different things that Filipino culture has to offer. Because when I was in high school and kind of even beginning of college, I would get embarrassed of some of the things that I would do because I knew it just wasn't normal compared to everyone. So the older I get, the more I just appreciate that it's something just like truly unique to me and truly unique to my family and a select group of people within like within America or whatever, where I grew up. Because I grew up in a predominantly like white area. So a lot of times growing up, I was very self-conscious of what I was doing because I genuinely only had one Filipino friend. His name's Jeremy. We've been good friends, best friends since like 7th grade, and he's literally my only Filipino friend. Like, there was only one. It wasn't until I got to middle school where a bunch of our schools were combining together. It wasn't until middle school where I found out I had one Filipino friend. And then one in high school, but we're not like as close as me and Jeremy are. Like, I think I've talked to him like once recently. But yeah, anyways. Eating with hands. I love eating with my hands with like bangus, which is like the fish. I don't know if you guys seen my video about that, me just eating with fish with my hands. Oh, it just, I don't know. I feel like a little more in tune with the motherland. But okay, next. Another culture shock. I think this is number 8. For birthday parties, you treat everyone if you're the ones inviting them out. So I remember in middle school, I had friends invite me to their birthday dinners. And this was when we were in middle school, and this is when we would start to go to things by yourself. Like, you wouldn't have parents chaperone you or whatever. Like, they just drop you off and pick you up or whatever. So we go to restaurants, and I would say that it was for my my friend's birthday, and then I would have to bring my own money because we would be paying for ourselves. And my mom was like, "What? Like, they're the ones asking you out for dinner. Like, why are they not paying for the food?" Because she said that whenever you would go out or invite people for dinner in the Philippines or invite them for some sort of food, you would be the one taking care of them because you're the ones that invited them. So whenever we would have family dinners or whatever, my parents would pay for it because that's just what they were used to, which, I mean, growing up, I didn't have a lot of those because my dad was very, very stingy with money and stuff like that. So I would only have a few people that would come. But yeah, like, it was kind of like a shock to her that we would be paying for ourselves even though that someone else invited you to come do this. Like, go to, Cheesecake Factory or whatever. Which, I mean, like, it's not a crazy concept. I mean, now that I'm growing up in America, I kind of, like, understand because I guess that's just I don't even know what I'm saying. But, like, that was a culture shock to her. I don't mind that that's a thing, but, like, it would be nice if, people would pay for you. But, like, it's fine. I'm just kidding. I don't even know what I was saying at that moment. Sorry. Anyways. But yeah, that was a culture shock for my parents. Number 9 was prayers for the dead. Now, I don't know if this could just be like a Catholic thing or something, but I know that a lot of Filipinos do this. So when someone dies, you like stay at the wake, you stay there like overnight or with them for like, I think, I don't even know how long. I know when my Lola died, when my Apong Mereng died, and my mom, she would go to the Philippines, and every single time we'd call her every day, she would be there at the place. I don't know what it's called. Oh my God, I'm like so fake right now. I'm sorry. But you would stay there with them, and then other than that, then you would have like when that would be done, you would have a prayer. So I remember being at my house, we'd have like an altar kind of thing. There was no priest there, but you'd have an altar. A lot of people would come over, and then you would just pray, light some candles. Like, we'd have a prayer booklet, pray the rosary, and just literally pray for all the people who have passed on from your family. So I don't know if that's a Filipino thing. It could be like a Catholic thing. I feel like a lot of maybe like Mexicans maybe do that because I know they're super Catholic as well. So I don't know. But that was one thing. When my friends would say that when I would say that I was going to this prayer, or I would show them like the altar of what we had in like our living room or something, in my head, I kind of was like, man, people probably think that this is like culty or something. Like, it looks like scary from if someone was like driving past our window and seeing like us just like praying to this one thing. Like, I feel like people, like my friends would be like, that looks a little scary. But no, that's a thing that we do. And every year, like death anniversary, we would have a prayer as well. So we'd go over to my like tita's house or something, have a prayer from my grandparents, and then eat some food afterwards. So literally like I said, like Filipinos always have some sort of gathering or like spending holidays and special occasions together always. Like we always have an excuse to come together and like hang out and eat food, like whatever. Which brings me to number 10, is that food is a love language. So I feel like this is a probably foreign person thing, Asian person thing, because I've seen a bunch of TikToks of like, just like foreign parents not being able to show love verbally and physically, but they mostly show it by peeling fruits, making food. I remember oh my God, I remember I ran away from home because of my SAT score. Also, I do want to make a video of all the things that I had to do to be able to live a normal American teenager life growing up as a Filipina girl, like here. All the things that I had to do to fit in with like my friends around me. But I remember I ran away from home and I didn't talk to my mom or talk to my dad, talk to them for like a good day or so. I think I slept over at my brother's house or something. I don't even know. And then as soon as I came back, didn't talk about the blow up that we had before I left or anything. All they did was just ask me if I, ate some food. Like they were like, "Did you eat already?" And I was like, "No." And I went upstairs like that. And literally to this day, we had never talked about that since. Like every single blow up you have, it just gets swept under the rug, and then they ask you if you ate, and then that's how you know that they still care. So food being a love language, and just every single time I'm like craving food or a specific dish and I tell my mom, like, immediately she will do it. But then like any show of like physical affection, it's so funny, I always just hug my mom. Like I will just latch on to her and she'll take it for like a good maybe like 5 seconds, and then after a while she will literally just like shoo me off. Like she'll be like, get off. Which is it's so funny to me because I'm very much a hugger. And I think my mom, like growing up, at least for her, she was not a hugger. Like, and her mom, like they weren't like that at all. So me being that to my mom is just like, I don't know. To this day, I think that my mom secretly loves it because she never did that. So, but I guess it's just not something she's used to. So, but yeah. But she will literally make me any single food that I want that day and do it as quick as possible and make it the best tasting food ever. So shout out mom. Love her. And then number 11 is not being wasteful. Now, I'm meaning this in like the best way possible. If you get what I'm saying. My brain just farted for a second there. But when I remember now, say that I'm doing the dishes and I have to wipe the like counter around it to wipe off all the water or whatever. I have to take a paper towel and then I wipe it. But I don't throw away that paper towel. I put it behind the faucet of the sink so I can save it for later. Because I remember my parents would be like, "Why are you throwing that away? Like, you could still use that." Which, when I was growing up, and it's just like, even in college and seeing my friends like not doing stuff like that, I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, why am I doing this? Like, I feel like it just looks weird or whatever. But the older I get, the more I'm like, Wait, no, it actually makes a lot more sense. One, we're saving money, and two, it is so much better for the environment to not be wasteful. I remember when me and my friends were at my house here and we had to throw something away that like smelled pretty bad, so I had to like mask the smell. I remember I was like, "Oh, I have this plastic bag that we can put it in." And I remember she was like, "Oh, no, 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 we can't, we shouldn't, like, we don't want to waste the plastic bag." And I was like, "No, like, my parents literally rewash plastic, like, Ziploc bags if they can, if it's not, like, completely, what's the word? Too far gone. Like, they will save them, they will rinse them, they'll dry them and put them back in the drawer for you to use for things that you don't have to, like, have it be a fresh Ziploc." So I showed it to her. I was like, no, no, like, this is the perfect thing that we can use. It's like, it's on its last leg now. This would be the perfect thing. And she was like, "Oh, snap." Like, I remember that to this day because I was like, that was the first moment that it really opened my eyes that I'm like, wait, Asian parents being, or even just like, I kind of feel like it's a non-white person thing because I will see like my white friends, and this is not bashing against white people at all. I love my white people so much, but like, y'all are pretty wasteful in the nicest way possible that like, if it's not 100%, then you don't need it anymore. And I'm truly not trying to be mean or anything, but like, this is literally what I've seen. But the more older I get, the more I'm kind of like, wait, this is the way that we should be doing things because you save money, you save the environment, you're not completely wasting things that you know can be used for something else. Like those paper towels that I use behind the sink, like that I put behind the sink, after those are completely like, not dirty, but they're good to be about to be thrown away, my mom will use that paper towel, put a little soap on it, and she'll use that to like wipe and mop the floor. Dude, tell me that's not freaking environmentally friendly and efficient. Like, what are you talking about? But, yeah. I honestly, after this video and after posting that TikTok, it kind of made me just be like, damn, I actually love, well, I've always loved being Filipino, but I actually love the fact that some of the things we do are so specific to us, even just like a foreign person thing. Some of the things that we do are so like different than other people's. And the older I got, the more I'm kind of just like, wait, I really cherish that we have these certain things that we've carried on from the Philippines, even though we're in America, like we still carry them on, which I'm kind of like, I hope it doesn't get lost later on, which it honestly might. Oh, also one of these ones, my last one. But one of the things was all Filipinos that you know are somehow related. And that's literally me. All my cousins on my mom's side here in Virginia, they're all boys. There's like let me actually show you a picture. So they're all boys. And I remember any Filipino boy that I met growing up, somehow we all knew each other. Like either they knew my cousin or they were my cousin or something like that. Or like they knew my parents, whatever. So that in turn, honestly, this is going to sound so crazy. But growing up, I started to not like Filipino boys because they reminded me too much of my cousins. And that there was a possibility that we could have been related because there was such a small amount of us here. Which is, I don't know if anyone understands that, but literally, like, I don't think I've ever liked any Filipino boy. One, because I've never seen any around here, but two, even just Asian boys. I guess I don't like Asian boys because I know I'm, like, they just remind me of my cousins. Does that make sense? But, this is literally, oh, let me talk to the mic. This is literally me and my cousins, just on my mom's side on the East Coast. My mom's one of 12, so these are just the East Coast ones. That's not even counting all the ones on the West Coast, and there's like a bunch more over there. But yeah, those are all the boy cousins. Those are the ones I grew up with, so that is why I fear that I will probably not marry a Filipino boy, which is sorry to the bloodline, but what can I say? What can I say? But anyways, this was a very long video, but if y'all have any other things that I didn't mention that you didn't realize were not normal until you like got older, please comment them down below. Go watch my TikTok where I talk about some of the things briefly. But yeah, no, thank you guys so much for watching. This was a lot of fun. And make sure to watch my streams Friday through Sunday, 9:30 p.m. on my TikTok. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to my streaming channel down below. And yeah, that is it for this little brain dump. I am so glad you guys were able to watch this whole thing. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.